Welcome back, everyone, to the Bears Profit Plays live show here on our YouTube channel. Joining me, as always, we have Trey Trends and Seth Chandler, or Seth Stacks now, banger of a name. But we only have a couple talking points tonight, and then we're going to do the categories game, and then trivia with Sam is a Bear Pack member, so that's going to be fun on the trivia. But let's get right into these topics, guys. We only have 4 tonight, and we're going to start in college football. It's going to be the realignment in college football. So before we get into all of that, I just want to go over what happened in these conferences and the conferences in general. The Power 5 conferences consists of the ACC, the Big 12, the SEC, the Big 10, and what was the Pac-12. But some smaller conferences have also made some moves. I'm just going to go conference by conference, and then you guys can jump in. But the Big 12 has Texas and Oklahoma leaving, and they are adding Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, and Colorado. And they also added BYU, Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF from a couple years ago. The Big 10 will add USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington. Those Pac-12 teams will stay in the Pac-12 this season. So the Big 10 does not change from last season. The AAC, who lost Houston, UCF, Cincinnati, and the Big 12 to the Big 12, are bringing in Charlotte, who I love, FAU, North Texas, Rice, UAB, and UTSA, who I also love. The SEC will be adding Texas and Oklahoma from the Big 12, losing nobody. And the Pac-12 is basically done because they only have Stanford, Cal, Oregon State, and Washington State left in that conference. The Pac-4 is still alive for this season, but probably not for long. What do you guys think is going on here? How are you guys reacting to this? Is this good or bad for college football? Seth, I'm going to start with you.
You know, guys, I don't think it's that bad for college sports in general, just because we're going to get to see a lot more competition. I mean, the Big 12 is now the Big 16. We now have 16 teams in there, so conference play is going to get really, really intriguing. It's going to get really competitive. The tournament's going to be fun. And, you know, where the Pac-12 stands, they might need to do kind of what the Big 12 did in going out and looking at smaller conferences and trying to poach some of those schools and kind of try to jumpstart the Pac-12 again. Other than that, I mean, if not, the Pac-12 is going to be diminished, because if they can't add at least 3 or 4 more teams to come in for 2024 from other conferences, other smaller conferences, then those remaining 4 teams are going to have to split up and try to figure out where they're going to go next.
Yeah, so you think the Pac-12 is going to die, though? Like, they're done?
I think it's a long shot for them to be able to kickstart it back up with only 4 remaining teams. I think if they would have been sitting about the 6 to 8 mark, I think there would have been a bigger chance, because it's probably going to be easier to get to 10 teams from 6 or 8 than having to add 6 more teams to get to 10. I see it as a real big problem.
Yeah, same. Trey?
Yeah, the Pac-12 is a problem. I think Stanford and Cal specifically are the ones left out because of their academics. We all know that both of those schools are really high in their academics, and that's kind of what's holding them back from getting in the other conferences like the Big 12 and the ACC. Because, yeah, they're pretty good schools, especially Stanford, but whenever you stack them up with the other schools around them academically, they stand way above them, especially whenever we're talking about the Mountain West. I've heard a lot of talk about the Pac-12 kind of absorbing the Mountain West. That's a good idea, but, you know, Stanford and Cal is not going to want to be in a conference with Nevada and, you know, UNLV and people like that. So I think that what's going to happen with the Pac-12 is Stanford and Cal's going to be independent. Cal might be able to find a way somewhere else, but I think Stanford's going to go the Notre Dame route and go independent, while the other schools in the Pac-12 probably go into the Mountain West, or the Mountain West probably going to go into the Pac-12, because the Pac-12, 100 plus years of their conference being there. The Mountain West is only, I think, 25 plus years old. So I think college football would rather the Pac-12 be alive than the Mountain West. So I think that's going to happen with that. But Big 10 got a lot better with those 2 additions that they had. And so did the Big 12. Big 12 basketball is going to be on another level with Arizona there. And Big 12 football got a lot better with Utah as well. So I think that everything kind of got a little bit better. Pac-12, we all said, was the weakest the Pac-12 was easily the weakest Power 5 school. So, you know, relegate the Pac-12, send them into nothing, and send the good schools from the Pac-12s into the better conferences. I like what they did.
Yeah, I think the Pac-12 did. I will personally miss some of the rivalry games that we've been accustomed to over the last several years. But at the same time, I understand why these teams are leaving the Pac-12. I understand why Oklahoma and Texas want to be in the SEC because that's the best conference and you get more money that way and you get better recruiting that way. But I think that these decisions being made are strictly about football and not about anything else, because changing a conference is a big deal to not just football, but every other athletic program at the school. It changes the location of events. So now some teams might have to travel much further for sporting events or competition that isn't football. That's going to hurt the baseball team, the track and field team, all of those other programs at your school are going to be affected by the change. But at the same time, I understand that football makes or breaks your school because you get the most money from football. So that should be the main focus. Overall, though, I don't really have a problem with it because I'm just going to watch football like I always do anyway every Saturday. It has no effect on me really, but I will miss the rivalries in conference play. But with these new teams coming in, we'll just make new rivalries and we'll move on. College football.
I got something to say about that, Bear. Yeah. All these people are complaining, Arizona State, all these Washington State, we're not going to be able to see that. All these OU, OSU. Guys, we're going to see OSU versus USC. We're going to see Texas versus Alabama. We're going to see a lot better football games than what we got to see. And everyone's complaining, these small schools. We used to complain when these big schools used to whip up on the small schools. I like that they're going to the big brothers, and we're going to see a lot better football, guys. Come on.
Well, guys, on your point, Trey, I think a team that low-key even brings the Big 12 up is BYU. They've been really good at both football and basketball over the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, they are very competitive in both sports. BYU's been ranked in football in the top 25. They've been ranked in basketball in the top 25. So I think that is a low-key team that people are not thinking about that's coming from a smaller conference. And even the likes of UCF has been pretty good at football over the last couple of years. So, I mean, even some of these smaller schools that we're seeing jump up, like Trey said, to the bigger conferences, I think they're going to add just as much competition as a bigger school moving, because now they're going to be seen on a higher scale. So we're going to get to see what they can do more frequently against better teams.
And we are going to see BYU versus Utah. That is going to be a damn good rivalry that's going to be birthed as well. I cannot wait to see that game.
Arizona and Kansas in basketball also is going to be really fun to watch as well. So we're all in Kansas. We love Kansas. Arizona is a very good basketball team. So that's going to be fun. We just got to think more on football. They have basketball too. So all these new rivalries are going to be fun to watch. But let's move on to Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson was in the news the other day because he has a gambling problem. Some call it a problem, some don't call it a problem, but it is what it is. We're going to talk about it. It came out that Phil Mickelson has allegedly lost close to $100 million gambling. He tried to bet on the Ryder Cup he was competing in. He has made 43 bets on MLB games in a single day. I think making 43 bets in a day on any MLB games is a problem, but I don't have millions and millions and millions of dollars. So what are you guys thinking about this in general? Seth, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it says it's showing he's wagered over $1 billion over the past 30 years. That is absolutely insane. I hope this guy gets help. I hope somebody gets him into Gamblers Anonymous because, guys, I know it's his hard-earned money and he can do with it whatever he wants, but he's going down a path of athletes who have spending issues. AI is another prime example of that. Lost most of his earnings pretty quick. But I mean, guys, this is actually kind of sad to see because, it's a guy that had a really good golf career and had made a lot of hard-earned money, but it looks like the dude's not even good at gambling. So I don't know why he continues to do it. Maybe we should call up his agent and tell him to watch Bears Profit Play Picks and help him out a little bit to win some of that money back.
I like it, Trey.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because it's his money, and heck, it's better to have the thrill of betting than going and spending it on like a Ferrari. Yeah, right. But
sure.
Phil Mickelson, he's claimed that the Ryder Cup thing is a lie. It's all alleged. But if it is true, that's kind of dicey, especially since that bet would have ended up losing. So if that contributed to the losses and the $100 million, then I kind of feel bad for the guy. But this is all, I think this is all past allegations. Like, we've known Phil has been a bad gambler for a long time. And I think this is all just past stuff. I don't think that this is recent news, or is it, Bear? Is this stuff that's gone out? Or I think it's just coming out because the guy released a book just telling past stories about Phil.
It's been talked about before, but not like this. And the video with Bryson the other day just made it explode even more. So, I mean, Phil's kind of in hot water. I don't think he even cares, though. Do you guys think he even cares?
No, I mean, he tweeted out, I think it was yesterday or today, saying that the Ryder Cup thing's false. And I know it's well documented. I have gambling issues, but I've took care of it. I went to rehab, figured it out, and I'm comfortable with where I'm at in my life. Something along those lines. So he feels comfortable. I mean, so he just needs to watch Bears Profit Plays, like Seth said.
Yeah, and guys, I have the same argument on this one as I had about the football players who were betting. Like, when you make that much money, what is the thrill of just trying to earn even more profits? Like, I don't see it. Like, you're making more money than so many more people in the U.S. Like, what is the fun in going and just blowing it for no reason at all? I don't get it.
I can see the fun in it. Like, to me, $50 bet's like enough to get me going. Like, it'll be exciting if I win, but to him, he's got to risk $250K, $50K, $100K on these games, which is a lot of money. But I can see how he has to bet all of that money to be excited about a win. But since he has all that money, we're gonna move on from Phil. We're done talking about him. He's living his best life. We're gonna leave him alone. Let's move on to Eric Bieniemy. Trey actually brought this topic to me because he says that some of the Commander players have some concerns with Eric Bieniemy because he's too hard on them. Is that true, Trey?
Yes, that's the reports that are coming out of camp. Ron Rivera, kind of said it out of pocket. Like, I don't even know if anybody even brought it up. He just said it. Hey, some of these players are coming to me saying EB's being a little bit too hard on him. I mean, that's just who EB is, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, but I just don't think it's because he has the head coach experience that Jack Del Rio has. And basically comparing him to Jack Del Rio. And I was watching the Pat McAfee show, and he put it in a kind of funny state of eyes because he was like, imagine being on the offense and seeing, Jack Del Rio and the defense sitting over there shooting hoops, playing basketball, and you're over here running sprints, doing push-ups, and your coach is screaming and yelling at you. I was like, yeah, I guess I could kind of see that. At the same time, this is a man's league. It's the NFL. This is not the XFL. This is not the AFL. This is not any of those things. This is the Premier League. Come on, guys. This is not anything you got to be complaining about. And at the same time, I feel like it had to be a vet guy going to him because if a rookie or if a guy that was on the roster bubble went up to Ron Rivera, hey, I just want to let you know EB's being a little bit too mean to us. Can you just let Eric Bieniemy know to just scale it back? I feel like I got some names. I feel like Eric Bieniemy was a running backs coach. I feel like he's probably specifically hard on the running back. So my guess is that it was Antonio Gibson. Brian Robinson's too nice of a guy. He's been through a lot of adversity. He does not care about getting screamed at. My guess, Antonio Gibson, you're the guy. Man up.
If you're mad at someone yelling you in football, you're soft. If they're yelling at you, that means they care about you. When they stop yelling, you should be worried. You're going to get cut if they stop yelling. So that's my take on it, Seth.
Yeah, if you guys would ask me if this kind of comment or this report coming out surprises me, I would give you a big no, it does not surprise me because the Bieniemy talk has been going on for years. It started in 2022 or September of 2022 when LaShawn McCoy came out and said, in quotes, all Bieniemy does is argue with players, knows nothing about passing or play calling. But let's take a step back here, okay? And Trey, this might hit exactly where you're coming at with the running backs. McCoy played on the Chiefs for like 2 months. Like he has no clue what – I don't know. So in my opinion, this all comes down to the team culture, what they are teaching these guys before these other coaches get here. I mean, if you look at it, Bieniemy's just a fiery guy. I mean, if you've watched Bieniemy on the sidelines, especially those of us who are Chiefs fans listening or whatever, if you watch Bieniemy, he's been in altercations with Travis Kelce. He's been in a screaming match with Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. Him and Kelce got in a shoving match. He called Mahomes a competitive prick. But guess what those two guys do? They come to his defense the day after. They love him. They love how competitive he is. And if people are saying that's the reason Bieniemy isn't getting a head coaching job, I say BS, because that is not the reason Eric Bieniemy is not getting a head coaching job. The big reason he's not getting the head coaching job, so that's what another reason I don't like Ron Rivera's comments is because it doesn't take somebody being a head coach to know how to coach his position. Like that doesn't correlate. The reason he hasn't got a head coaching position is because people want to see what he can do outside of Andy Reid's system. It's that simple. In my opinion, if I was a player, I would love to have somebody as fiery as Bieniemy on my side because I know that dude would always have my back. So if those players just need to suck it up, like just suck it up. You're on an NFL football team. You're making how much money, and you're going to complain about somebody screaming at you a little bit and telling you to work harder and trying to get the best out of you as possible. I do not like these reports. I do not like how Ron Rivera handled it. I think Bieniemy would make a great head coach one day, because I think he has his players' backs at all times, and I like his fire.
Well, we'll see. Bieniemy trying to prove himself, leaving the Chiefs, leaving Andy Reid, leaving Patrick Mahomes. He wants to prove himself, and he chose the Commanders to do that with. So he's got his work cut out for him this offseason and this season in general. But let's move on to Michael Lorenzen. He was traded from the Tigers to the Philadelphia Phillies, and then in his second game with the Phillies, he threw a no-hitter in white Vans, by the way. The 14th no-hitter in franchise history. It was electric. His shoe game was on point, and those shoes will now be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And the best part was his entire family was in attendance, including his mom, his wife, and his kid. And then they had the interview after the game talking about his dad. And it's a very emotional clip to go watch. So go watch that if you want to see that. But Seth, I know you went deep into this one. Go ahead and start us off.
No, but isn't that an awesome story? Like, your family's there and you go out there and pitch the best game of your career. But just Michael Lorenzen as a guy, he just seems like a really, really good guy. He's a pretty cool success story at that, too. This is a guy that we're talking about back in 2013 that was drafted in the 38th round. We don't even have that many rounds anymore. Like, this is a guy that would have been an undrafted rookie if he was in this last few years draft. So that's crazy to think about. It's a 38th round pick, drafted in 2013, after spending only 2 seasons in the minors. 2 seasons after being a 38th round pick, gets called up in 2015. He makes his big league debut in 2015 as a starter for the Reds. He transitioned to the bullpen after 2015 until about 2022. But little did anybody know, watching Michael Lorenzen, that this dude was an athlete. All right. This is a guy who made appearances in the outfield. It's a guy that they brought in to pinch hit, even when they had other hitters on the bench waiting. He has 7 career home runs and has a 233 average. For a pitcher, that is pretty good, guys. That is pretty good. And he has a 710 OPS and 133 at-bats. Give me that all day long. Are we talking about Shohei Ohtani? No, but still, this guy is fun to watch. I really enjoyed seeing what he did. And on top of that, it looks like this dude does about 100 curls before he goes out to the baseball field. He's yoked, guys. So it was pretty cool, though, because after being in the bullpen for 3 or 4 years, he became a free agent in 2022. So he decided to take a chance on himself and try to wait out free agency and try to find a place where somebody would let him start. That place ended up being the Los Angeles Angels. He had a pretty good year that year. He had a 4.24 ERA, but the Angels had a disappointing one. And sadly, he was just one that they wanted to get rid of to get some pieces back in the deal. So they sent him to the Tigers for the 2023 season. He had a pretty good 3.58 ERA on the Tigers before they traded him. In his second career game with the Philadelphia Phillies, he goes out and pitches a no-hitter. Yeah. What was it? Were we talking that night that he had 100 pitches already in the 7th inning and fought through it?
Yeah, they kept him in after the 7th inning with 100 pitches.
So that's awesome. That just shows he's a workhorse, and that just shows it's basically should be a lesson for all of us. Perseverance will pay off. If you continue to bet on yourself and continue to take chances, there's a good chance that's going to pay off for you.
That's good managing. I'd be so mad if a manager took me out on a no-hitter. That's good managing by the Phillies there, and it worked out for him as well. Trey, you have anything to add?
No, that was a great trip down memory lane. I didn't know that Lorenzen was even that old. Didn't know he was drafted that long ago or that late. So shout out Michael Lorenzen. I've been throwing out his props the last 2 times that he started for the Phillies because I knew that he was wheeling and dealing with the Tigers. And I had full expectations that he was going to want to show up and show out for his new team. And I'm glad that he did because, like Seth said, he's a great guy. I'm glad his whole family was there. It almost seems, dare I say, was this scripted? Did the MLB scripted game?
But
it was awesome to watch. So
yeah, it really was. But we're going to move on from Michael. We're going to get to the categories game. We're only going to do 3 each this time. It's going to be funniest sports moments. We're going to start with Seth, and then Trey's going to go second. I'm going to go third, and I'll get back to back, and we'll go back around. But Seth, start us off.
Yeah, guys. So this happened it was either last year or the year before, but I think it was last year. Pat Bev, LeBron thought he got fouled to end the game, and the ref did not call it. The ref did not think so. So Pat Bev took it upon himself to go over to the cameraman, grab the camera, and go show the ref that he missed the call. It ended up getting him a suspension, but I think that was one of the funniest things I have seen. And Pat Bev's a funny dude. So watching him go grab that camera from the guy, go and show the ref that he missed the call, it was priceless.
Yeah, that was absolutely hilarious. Trey, 2?
Yes, mine, and I really love this one. It is going to be Chris Jones running the 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine. It was one of my funniest memories in life. I mean, it was just such a cringy thing. And I remember thinking, dang, this guy's going to be set back his entire career. He's only going to be remembered for the guy who fell down and his dong fell out in the 40-yard dash. Little did I know this guy's going to turn into a defensive MVP caliber guy. So shout out Chris Jones. That memory will always be with me. So shout out you.
Yeah, I'm going to take my team. Ezekiel Elliott jumping in the bid-wreck bucket of the Salvation Army. He was giving out donations to his teammates when they were walking up. That was an all-time moment for me to watch. It was very funny by Ezekiel Elliott. And then I'm going to go man, which one should I do here? I'm going to go, there's a fan on the field called by Kevin Harlan. It's an all-time sports funny moment. It happened in a very boring game between the Rams and the 49ers. Towards the end of the game, he turns into one of the best calls ever. I'm going to give you a little bit. He says, hey, someone has run on the field, some goofball in a hat and a shirt. He runs to the 50. He runs to the 40. This guy is drunk, but he doesn't care. Waving his arms, bare-chested. It is amazing. You have to go find that on YouTube. It is the funniest video you will watch tonight. I promise you that. Trey?
Yes, and this one, oh my God, this one happened actually this season in the NBA season, and I remember I was rolling on the floor laughing about it. Give me Grant Williams. I'm going to make both. And he freaking bricked them both. That one was legendary. I was watching that game live, and I was like, oh, my God, this is going to be legendary. And they were getting in each other's faces. And I was like, oh, my God, he just said he's going to make both. And then he bricked the first one, dying laughing. Oh, my God, he bricked it. And then he bricked the second one, and I was screaming. I'm going to make both my second pick.
Seth?
Yeah, guys, I'm going to throw it back a tad bit, and I'm going to go to Ron Artest changing his name to Meta World Peace. So just so you guys know, meta is defined as the philosophy and practice of universal love. This is a dude that does the exact opposite of showing people universal love. This is a dude that went into the stands and tried to beat the crap out of a fan. So that gets me going a little bit when I saw what he changed his name to and the meaning of that.
You got back-to-back here. Last pick.
All right. Man, I have quite a few on here. I don't know which one I want to do.
Take your time. Make sure you get it right.
I have two really good ones. One's more embarrassing for the player, and the other one was just funny to watch.
Make sure you get it right. This will go up on YouTube, so you got.
I think I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals giving Kyler Murray a homework clause in his contract. Like, what? That is embarrassing. Super embarrassing that you have your coaches tell you, hey, you guys need to go study your playbook instead of playing video games. I don't know if I would have wanted to be in that position.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I didn't even know that happened, and then whenever you said it, I remembered it. But Trey, last pick here for you.
Okay, now this one is tough. I think I had two, and I really don't know which one I'm going to choose because one of them is stuff I found funny. But I'm trying to get the vote, so I don't know if other people are going to find it funny. But you know what? I'm doing it. Give me Nate Robinson getting assed up by Jake Paul. He just got knocked out by Jake Paul, ass hanging up, looking down at the canvas, sleeping, snoring. He should have put a pillow there for him. I remember I was watching that fight, and I was really hoping Nate Robinson was going to knock him out because I hated Jake Paul at that time. But he's won me over. I really like Jake Paul now. But Nate Robinson getting knocked out and having his ass hanging up in the air was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, guys, before I give my last one, if you are in the chat, comment hashtag Rockies in the chat. That's hashtag Rockies. I have the game of the month on the line in a little bit, so I want to make sure everybody gets entered into this $50 giveaway that we have for the chat. If we might not do it tonight, but we will do it tomorrow on our video. If you guys comment hashtag Rockies in the chat, we will make sure you get on that wheel. But my last pick, this is going to be in an NBA game. It was the Milwaukee Bucks. David Bakhtiari absolutely slams a beer on the Jumbotron. It's basically a chug-off between him and Aaron Rodgers. And when they pan over to Aaron Rodgers after David just slammed 2 beers in like 10 seconds, Aaron Rodgers sips it, and it couldn't have been worse for him. He was made fun of for weeks and weeks on end. It's still brought up sometimes in podcasts, and then they went back over to David, and he did another one and pumped up the crowd. The Bucks went on to win the game. So it was a very funny moment there. But we are waiting now on our guy for trivia, and hopefully he comes in the next 2 minutes, or we're going to have to move on. But it is going to be Sam Irv P. I believe he was in our NBA stuff. He won a couple contests for us in the NBA time, but he has not. I've been talking to him all day. He hasn't got on yet, so we're going to give him a couple minutes. If you guys are still here, hashtag Rockies in the chat or hashtag Rockies when this goes up on YouTube. We'll make sure you guys get on that $50 wheel for that giveaway. But Trey, Seth, anything to add before we get out of here?
We're not about to get out of here because I know this guy.
If he doesn't come, then
oh Sam. My God! Look at this guy, Sammy. Sam. I sent you the email. Check your email. Might be in your spam. Might not be. If you're wanting to come on and do trivia, Bear said he's been talking to you. Rocky's in the chat. You're in control of if this money goes away or not. So
$100 giveaway, Sam. You better get yourself in here soon, buddy. It's sent to you. Check your spam. Check your trash. Check everything. Make sure you get it.
But no, I'm actually pretty excited. We got some NFL football going on right now. Have either of you guys watched any of those games? Any reactions going on? Jordan Love looked pretty good so far.
I haven't watched hardly any football. Just to let you know, Seth.
Yeah, I was a little confused as to why. I mean, I read somewhere where Davis Mills was getting the start, and then they were going to start Stroud the next game. But I don't know why, when you use such a high pick on somebody, you don't just start him every game. Like,
yeah, they did start Stroud, but he looked doo-doo yesterday.
True. I did see, though, Sam says, give me a minute. All right, Sam, we'll wait on you, buddy. Better make it quick there. We're running out of material.
My first preseason game I will watch will be Sunday. That'll be the first one I will sit down and watch. And I will be holding my breath if Mahomes does one drop back in that game.
Mahomes isn't touching the field. What?
I hope not, but Mahomes is.
It's their first game, isn't it?
Like the enemy said, Mahomes is a competitive prick. He's gonna get out there.
Guys,
what?
The freaking Washington Commanders offense is so bad. How bad are they? No. The score is currently Browns 2, Commanders 0. They got a safety. Maybe EB isn't so hot. Maybe
the enemy effect. The enemy effect.
What's up, Dixon Eben?
Guys, what's up, man? No, but I did see the Patriots doing Patriots thing, Bill Belichick things. Undrafted quarterback Malik Cunningham went off the other night in the preseason game, running, throwing, doing everything. So,
man,
there he is. I see him. Sam, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right, cool. We can hear you. All right, we're gonna do trivia.
Not 100. Guess that's the
I'm going to. It's gonna be how many questions we got here? We have 8 questions. We can let you bank out after the medium questions for $50 if you get that far. But I want to give you your lifelines real quick. You ready?
He said yes.
Oh, okay. Your lifelines are going to be a 50-50. So we'll take 2 of the incorrect answers away. And then you're going to have a revive. So that means if you miss a question, you will get a revive and you can try to answer the question again. And then you have an ask the panel. That means you can ask Trey or Seth if they know the answer. If they do, then and they get it right, we'll move on. Sound good?
So 50-50 and ask the panel?
Correct. And if you miss a question, we'll give you another life.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, let's move. Let's do this. 8 questions. Right. First question is going to be, what is the name of the game-winning touchdown that occurred during the 1972 AFC Divisional Playoff? Miami Miracle, the catch heard around the world, the Immaculate Reception, or 22 dive?
90% sure it's Immaculate Reception.
Let's go.
We'll give that to you. That was a pretty easy one. I mean, I put 22 dive up there. I thought somebody funny would say, but all right, we'll move on. Good guess there. When was the last time the Boston Red Sox won a World Series? 2014, 2015, 2017, 2018.
See, I'm a Yankees fan, and then I try to just negate all the Red Sox championships.
I get that.
So, I think the last one was 2018.
That is correct. Very good.
Dang, all right. 2-2. Let's go.
The Yankees fan knew the Boston question, which also makes sense to me too. So, all right, let's move on. What MLB player has the most MVP awards? Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth, Mike Trout, Mickey Mantle.
Oh man.
Come on.
I'm gonna say Is it Babe Ruth?
It is not Babe Ruth.
Oh,
We have the self revive though. We're gonna get another chance. You can also use another lifeline if you need it.
I'll do the 50-50 on this one.
Yeah, smart. I'll take. We'll take away. We'll take away both, right? I feel like we should, since you already guessed. It's A. Barry Bonds. It's A. Barry Bonds. We'll take away Mike Trout and Mickey.
Oh.
But it is A. Barry Bonds. He had 7, and the next best was 3 with Mike Trout. So,
okay.
Yeah, Barry was an absolute beast.
7 MVPs.
Not in the Hall of Fame, by the way. Just letting everybody know. Let's move on. You have asked the panel left, so you're doing good. You can still bank out after this question, I believe. No. You got 2 more questions. You can make out after 2 questions for $50 also. So you do have that lifeline left. But who is the NBA's all-time leading rebounder? Tim Duncan, Bill Russell, Kareem, or Wilt Chamberlain?
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm going to use a lifeline here.
Lifeline?
All right.
Seth, do you know the answer?
I'm going to guess the guy that has absolutely every record because he was playing against 6'2" white guys, Wilt Chamberlain.
I agree.
Both agree? Sam, you good with that?
Sure.
It is Wilt Chamberlain. Good job, boys.
Okay.
It is Wilt Chamberlain.
You guys.
Let's go.
All right. Last question before you can bank out. Since the year 2000, how many NFL teams have had winless seasons? A1, B2, C3, D5.
2000. Oh, man.
The last one before the bank.
Yeah, I think it's 2.
It is 2. Good job. The Lions and the Browns, both 0-16. So very good. Do you want to bank out for 50 or do you want to go on? These questions are very hard. I have to tell you.
Am I able to see the question before I decide or no?
We can give them a sneak peek.
You want to show them one question?
We can show them the first question.
All right, we'll show you the first question. All right.
Bank out.
We will show you the first question. How many coaches have won an NBA title in their rookie season as head coach?
Okay, I think I'm probably going to bank out.
All right. Hey, $50. $50. Very good job. We had a lot of fun doing this, and you also have hashtag Rockies in the comments, so you have a chance to win another 50 in the chat. So
awesome, thank you.
Good job so you. If you would send me, we've been on Twitter with you in DMs. If you'd send me your Venmo or Cash App or PayPal or whatever, we'll send you $50, and then you'll also be entered into that wheel spin for $50 also tomorrow. So thank you for joining us. Congratulations on the $50 win, and thanks for being a Bear Pack member, man.
I had fun. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, thanks, man. See ya. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our live show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will see you guys tomorrow for our next video in the MLB. Peace out, guys.